By the power of Grayskull,
Hello everybody, hello Kohat, specifically Kohat because you're the one who's here. How's it going? Let's get some music going. Since I have adjusted my opening music in such a way that it is not playing the other stuff, we have to start it manually now. Yeah. Go ahead, I don't know what you're saying, but thanks.
Kohate says, "It's a day, hope yours has been well so far."
These days usually don't like start for me until about now, to be honest. I don't do much. I get up, I get dressed, I get stuff prepared for the stream, I laze around for a little bit, then I go back to bed for my nap, and then I wake up and start prepping for the stream. But yeah, we're working on this guy today, in case you couldn't tell. This is the male version of the Viridian Minder here. We're basically going to be using the same color scheme on this guy after I make some adjustments, because I'm looking at him and I'm kind of like, what's going on with this shoulder? What have I done? Should be like probably showing more, pointed more towards the viewer. Feels like nothing has really been happening this week except for Iran stuff. That's been most of my feed on Twitter. And I haven't even been on Twitter that much. Which might be why that's mostly what I'm seeing. I've actually been productive for the past couple days because I really wanted to get the adventure template done for a little freebie that I'm going to be sending out to people that join the newsletter. And that's basically done now. So I can start on that like next week. Although thinking about it, I should probably add like a little more to it about like solo play or something. That wouldn't take very long. I should make a note of that. Let's see, we'll put it in the release countdown. Add solo play mention to AT. Alright. Back to drawing. Let's see. I think this guy's basically ready to color at the moment. So has there been anything interesting going on that I've missed out on I know the new Pokemon thing has come out, but honestly, it doesn't seem all that interesting to me.
Kohate says. UHHH.
Thanks, Geronimo. That's definitely how you say that.
Kohate says. I'm gonna level with you, dog. It's all just boring.
Yeah, it seems like to me that like the whole Iran situation is like taking up all of the news. Like you got the Pokemon thing, but there's not much to it. It's Pokemon Animal Crossing mixed with Minecraft.
Kohate says. Like Marathon came out and seems fine, but hasn't done well. Slay the Spire came out, but it's just a good game. For some reason even the war seems so mundane. Kohate says. I might just be depressed, but I'm not inspired by anything this last couple of days.
Yeah, I definitely kind of feel similar vibes at the moment. Just kind of been boring. Okay, this doesn't need to be there. I can't even find like good YouTube videos to watch. It's getting harder and harder. And I could always be watching some Vtubers, they're always playing stuff, but those are like hours and hours worth of stream.
Kohate says. Life ain't easy for an observer like me.
Probably the most interesting thing I've seen around is just some interesting animals popping up on my feed that might be good inspiration for creatures in the future, but I'm not in the business of making new creatures at the moment, so they're just sitting in a folder or in my bookmarks. Can't even act on the interesting stuff. Well, I could, but you know, I gotta focus on the other things. Honestly, I can see why these games like Marathon are just dying so fast.
Kohei
There's
says,
so many of them, man.
For some reason X has been intent on handing me funny animal and nothing I can do can make it stop.
At least funny animals are funny. So there's that. You're definitely right earlier that the war seems really mundane right now. It's just like, okay, we flew in, we bombed the shit out of everyone multiple times. And now it just kind of seems like nothing else is happening. But we haven't won. Surprisingly, somehow we haven't won. They haven't given up yet. And just everybody's talking about, oh, is it gonna take forever or what? Who freaking knows?
Kohei says, like I'm sure if you're Iranian, you're having the worst time of your life, but like surely even they're bored.
Yeah. Now for the military at least. I like how we bombed out the Supreme Leader, and then they put another one in, and then we immediately bombed him too, and then we bombed like their entire political leadership in one go, because they all decided to meet at one place. I hear now they're gonna convene over Zoom, which they probably should have done in the first place.
Kohei says, spawn camping the political system is insanely BM but it is funny.
Yeah. I've seen some good points made that attacking the political system instead of trying to duke it out with all the grunts on the ground like civilized people is a lot better for the normal people. When you think about it. Like, do we want to kill a bunch of people in the meat grinder, or do we just want to blow up the people who are sending them there? Just kind of makes sense. Hopefully it doesn't last too long. What do we think of bro here?
Kohate says. Maybe I've long maintained that governments are the culminations of their peoples though. I'm just happy it has literally zero impact on my life.
That's always a positive.
Kohate says. He looks anxious.
You know what? We'll see how long it has no impact on the life when the gas prices start hitting. Friggin', I remember back when the Iraq War first started. Actually, I think it was just the bombing of the World Trade Center. Well, bombing. That's probably not the correct term for flying a plane into a building, but close enough, I guess. But, I was helping one of my friends deliver papers on his news route, so you can tell how old this is. But, like, the top story was just that immediately after that, gas prices jumped to like $5. Or some insane amount like that. And it's like, yeah, that's not normal. I don't think this qualifies for such a massive increase in gas prices, and I was freaking... This was back in middle school. And even back then I was like, yeah, that's garbage. These guys are cheating. I don't know, I guess I've been politically aware for a large part of my life. Alright, let's get some shading on this boy.
I think the price of gas is totally disconnected from the production of it.
I don't know about that. Thing is, the story I just told, it didn't stay that way. Like, this was a case of price gouging. Just people being opportunistic. That's part of the reason why it was front page of the newspaper. That said, I have heard that our oil is not really dependent on that part of the world all that much anymore, so we may not even see much of a change. Europe's going to be crying about it though. But when doesn't Europe cry about things?
Kohate says. Iran has been under energy embargo for what, 10-ish years? Literally only affects China and Russia, feels man.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't have an effect. But probably not nearly as big as naysayers are going to be claiming. The funniest stuff on Twitter right now is just all the people who are trying to claim that Iran is winning. They got all these like magical super weapons that they think Iran has that they haven't unveiled yet, and it's like, you guys, you do know that they're lying about that, right?
Kohate says, getting the Supreme Leader blown to pieces was all a part of the plan actually.
Yeah, right. It's honestly just amazing how many people like take everything they hear from these other crazy countries as like the gospel fact, but everyone is suspicious of everything America ever says, especially if Trump says it. But then when we actually come out swinging and it's like, oh yes, we have the discombobulators now that render enemy combatants completely immobile and unable to fight. And also all the air defenses are useless. It's almost like when you have super weapons, you just don't tell anybody
says,
about it until you need to.
I can't believe they used to explode the entire military installation machine. Here's how Iran can still win.
Yeah, I guess the one thing in the news is actually fairly entertaining if you think about it. Good to be somebody commenting on the sidelines. Apparently some of the things we're sending in to fight like haven't actually seen action since like World War II. Like the submarines. You know how long it's been since we had submarines fight? We weren't using them in Vietnam. We weren't using them in Iraq. Kinda surprised they still work.
Kohate says, I've actually become so radicalized, every time I see a commentator I want them to perish. My mom sent me a video of a man talking about Iran, and in the middle of the vid he pivoted to betting on. Kohate says, whether or not Khomeini would be executed. Kohate says, it's so grim, dude.
Oh, dude, the whole betting on everything thing that's going around lately, I don't understand it. Hell, I saw one of the major platforms for this stuff, like, refuse to pay out for things
Kohate
that
says,
bet on him being
I literally
removed.
don't care if it's legal or not, I just wish they didn't pretend that it wasn't degenerate gambling for addicts.
Right?
Kohate says, that's the most offensive part to me.
It's freaking crazy the kind of things that are happening like these days because of just like ambiguous gray areas in law because of technology. And like all the companies are just fully mask off about it.
Kohate says, it's not anithuali gambling, it's sports wagering based on futures trading, totally different.
Futures trading. I don't even get how that even makes sense. Yes, we're buying stocks in things happening. What? I don't even like the normal stock market. Futures trading. Psh. Yeah, we thought we'd have flying cars and be making moon bases by 2026, but instead we've got buy now, pay later apps, and we're betting on world events.
Kohate says, tell me about it. People should have to individually invest and sponsor or patronize the things they want to succeed, not use companies as a vehicle for economic growth. Kohate says, it's all so gross. Kohate says, it wasn't supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
Kohate says, I didn't come here tonight to crash out, man.
Sorry. That just happens to be what's happening. I guess all we can do is try to minimize the engagement with it as much as possible for us ourselves. Oh, also you have to subscribe to everything. But that's nothing new. I've complained about that forever. Since they started doing it. And people were saying, oh, but it's such a better deal than buying it outright. And I'm like... You know what I'm most pissed about, though? Like...
Kohate says, did you see the whole thing with John government trying to force age verification into operating systems?
Yeah, I think California is doing that. Among others, mostly California around here.
Kohate says, I also saw one for internet access generally, and it's like, dog, what does my ISP even do?
Yeah, what do they think they're gonna do? Like, what if a place has kids? Can you just not get internet if your house has kids? Like, what is... I don't know who's trying to make these laws, but they are retarded. Like, we've gone a long time without, like, the boomer politicians really getting into the whole regulating the internet. But for some reason now it's like, oh, everything on the internet. I don't know if it's because millennials got into the politics or what, but they should know better if it's them.
Kohate says, this is their second wind and last stand, one final chance to fuck it all up, let's go.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, the most egregious thing with this whole subscription service garbage is how we used to have things like Google Play, where you could actually, like, buy the digital versions of the songs and stuff. And now that's just gone. It just doesn't exist anymore. The albums that I bought on that, can't access them anymore. Now I have to have some kind of subscription service. And that was like the perfect digital distribution model too. Like, it was just Steam, but for music. And wouldn't you know it, Steam is, like, not a public company. Not publicly traded.
Kohate says. Tangentially related, there's a court cases inching its way to the Supremes about DMCA and the ability to use screen capture software to bypass digital locks. Kohate says. It's like a genuine effort to make it so you can't own anything or something. Kohate says. I don't know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Kohate says. I'm a conspiracy truther. Kohate says. Imagine going to prison for OBS.
Yeah. Absolutely insane. The extent to which companies are trying to control people's engagement with their products. I just want to get this stuff to the Supreme Court so it can all be freaking over with. Do we have to be slaves or do we actually get to own things? Tell us, Supreme Court.
Kohate says. Slavery it is.
I do feel like the whole angst around these situations that we're talking about is kind of coming to a head, so maybe we'll see some actual movement on the issues. Like, I can hardly open up YouTube anymore without seeing a video about how everything sucks now. And of course, it's always got some person narrating the thing with their freaking face on the screen, holding the microphone in front of their face like there's some kind of on-the-scene reporter. That has become like a major YouTube pet peeve for me. Like, we got AI slop up at the top, and then below that, people doing video essays while they talk with a microphone in front of their face.
I would agree, but I don't think everything sucks enough yet. When I talk to people in my daily life, they're happy to consume thing.
That's the blackpilling thing, isn't it? Normies.
Kohate says. Literally walk around thinking I'm crazy for having a standard, SMH my head. I just want something genuine.
And that's why you're here, right? Dice Bag, the most genuine man alive.
Kohate says. Yar. Kohate says. I can say, if you were any more genuine it'd be bad for business. But that's okay, because you haven't become evil. Kohate says. Yet. Kohate says. There's always tomorrow I guess. Kohate says. We'll see.
Well, you know what? I haven't sold my company yet. I haven't even registered my company, which is probably something I should do before I actually release a product. But that's another topic. Then again, I didn't do that for the last product I released, but it flopped, so who cares?
Kohate says. Wizards of the Coast gonna patent snipe you, better look out.
I'd be more worried about the Pokemon Company than Wizards of the Coast right now. I don't think there's really much of anything in Crytures that resembles something from Wizards of the Coast. Or unless you're talking about the card game. In which case, they wouldn't do that because it's too much of a departure from the way their game is made. Haven't seen much about the Pokemon Pal World lawsuit either. It's like all the interesting things happening are just on hold for the war. Last I heard, Nintendo was getting their butts kicked though, so good news. Maybe there's hope for the world yet, if Nintendo loses against Pal World. Yeah, I think that would actually be a relatively big thing. Nintendo has kind of been allowed to act too big for their britches for a long time.
Kohate says. I don't know, because now, historically non-litigious Sony owns them, right?
I don't know if they own them. I think they just have like publishing rights.
Through the shadows we tread with care.
But either way, like, I don't think being non-litigious is going to stop to get Nintendo to drop their lawsuit on them.
Thank God.
That's kind of Nintendo's prerogative, the lawsuit. They don't really have much say in whether they get sued or not. Oh yeah, when are consoles gonna die?
Kohate says. Oh, I was being sarcastic. Sony sues like a MFER.
Oh, okay. I don't really follow all the Sony shenanigans unless it's a game. I'm so tired of the dead console wars. Just put your shit on Steam, guys. Nintendo.
Kohate says. DMCA is Sony and Warner's fucked up child.
That figures.
Silent whispers from the ancient past. Haunted souls in the shadows cast. We hold fast to magic unsurpassed.
So yeah, from now on, all these new Pokemon games are going to be on the Switch too, of course.
I have a Steam Deck now, and I really like it, mostly because I can just use it like a computer. It's really quite nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Kohate says. I couldn't imagine buying something that was dedicated to gaming.
Right? Like, do people not use their
Kohate says.
computers for anything
Seems
else?
like a waste of computing power.
Speaking of waste of computing power, AI seems to be having a hard time recently. Like, you can tell people are starting to be like skeptical of all this garbage.
Actually, let me slander my wife really fast. Kohate says. She has a tablet.
Well, is it exclusively for gaming?
Kohate says. But insisted on buying a Kindle for some reason.
Oh.
Kohate says. It's like, what?
Well, you see, Kindles are trendy.
Kohate says. You have a better version of a Kindle. Kohate says. What are you doing?
But you see, Kohate.
Kohate says. I hate women, dude.
I know. Look, it's very easy to understand the psychology of women. Because, look, you see a tablet doesn't mean anything. But a Kindle means that you read. And women like to read, and women like to know that other people know they read. So if she carries a tablet around, that's like nothing. But if she carries a Kindle around, that's a signal. And this is probably why I'm single.
Pathroot says, wait, aren't Kindles just installable on tablet?
Hello, Path, and yes. You can... I'm pretty sure you can have Kindle on a tablet. How's it going, Path? Oops.
Kohate says, but this is the color paper white deluxe dongle edition that gives you 8-bit unsaturated colors for you texts. Kohate says, you gotta understand, you need the Amazon proprietary DRM hardware. Kohate says, it's a must slash. Pathroot says, I'm
Yes, exactly.
currently making a note on what to do.
Making a note on what to do. Just do it, bro.
Pathroot says, that's just dumb. Pathroot says, DRM sucks.
If only women cared about that. The actual sucking of things or not. See, this is part of the thing with advertising, right? Like, people always complain that, like, they're always filling advertising with, like, black men and white women. And it's like, oh, it's some kind of conspiracy for race mixing and all that. But really, it's literally just like those are the... So yes, they pander to them.
Kohate says, I saw someone be effectively advertised to the other day and wanted to vomit.
I assume there wasn't a good reason.
Kohate says, literally turns to me and says maybe I should get one of those. Pathroot says, alright, the reason why I'm making a note is because I want to open a VGen account. Gotta find a way to make money somehow.
VGen, I see. Trying to get into the commission game.
Kohate says, and I was like, no. You were fine, and you will be fine.
Yeah, in my study of marketing, I have come to, like, one conclusion that has done more
Kohate
for me
says,
than anything else.
Is VGen real?
And I came to this conclusion by looking at the way I interact with advertising. And the way I interact with advertising is, if I didn't want it before, I'm annoyed by it. And if I already want it, then I'm annoyed by it because I already know about it. But if it's something I didn't know about, and it's also something I want, like already I would want that, then advertising works. And it doesn't even matter like what the advertising is. They just have to like say what the thing is. And if I'm like, oh, that's something I'm interested in, then I'm like, okay, I will engage with this advertising because it's something I want that I didn't know existed. I'm literally just applying that principle to like anything I do for Crytures now.
Pathroots says. Now Kohate, I'm doubting myself again. XDDD.
Do you know people on VGen? Because, like, I heard that you have to have, like, a reference to join as, like, a creator or whatever. I haven't looked into it too much. I'm not in the commission game anymore. Thank God.
Pathroots says. My brother, he has a VGen account.
Oh,
Kohate says.
okay.
Everything I know about VGen makes me think it's surreal. Like you have to jump through hoops to get a code and people are awarded some codes sometimes, but if not you have to do advertising for them.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the kind of thing you have to do to keep out the riffraff with like the AI artists and stuff these days.
Pathroots says. Yeah, makes sense TBH. Kohate says. You say that, but every week, without fail, there's some AI scandal from VGen.
Is there? I don't follow it that well, but I guess their countermeasures aren't working, huh? That's crazy. Go through all that trouble and it still doesn't stop it.
Kohate says. Honestly, I think the problem is that people just want to trust other people, but they can't. Pathroots says. Now I'm doubting myself again. I don't want to stick to KO5 for very long knowing that they are based in the UK. Kohate says.
Ooh, that's a...
Pathroots, you should set it up and report back on how it goes.
That is a legitimate concern, Path. Given the UK's shenanigans. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. And you know what? Thinking about it, I can see how so many AI things have probably gotten in, because like a lot of the time I've seen of VGen people, like it's them like just sharing codes willy-nilly.
Pathroots says. But first, I need a catalog. That's the plan.
A catalog. You know what? As a guy who
Kohate
did
says,
commissions and also
catalog.
commissioned people,
Where's your catalog now?
I would suggest just putting up what you have and
Pathroots says, I'm
not
still making it.
trying to, like, over-prepare. You're probably not gonna miss out on anything. And you can always kind of add to things later. You know what? I think the shadows are too dark. We're gonna bump them down a little bit. 6%. I think this guy's probably done at this point. Oh, wait. There's one thing left.
Kohate says, I think VGen is strange though, because the people looking for artists aren't necessarily looking for the artist but rather the artist's product. Pathroots says, makes sense. Though I'm a paranoid pigeon. XDDD.
Oh, that don't look straight.
Kohate says, become Pigeon Prime, he's from New York.
Also, you've got a few commissions under your belt already, Path. You don't usually need a whole lot just to show off.
They'll find their cloaks were threadbare, their souls were torn through failure's ash, their mission born. Spells on lips and lanterns low, they track the webs where shadows grow.
Alright, I think now we're done.
Mandibles clicking, the nests they grow.
Let's save this and move on to the next thing.
Pathroots says, yeah, I appreciate my client, but I don't want to just heavily rely on one client. TBT.
One client.
They'll find each strike of fire, each rune etched proud, each cry for hope, each
You did one for me a while back, I know. I still got it here.
where spiders brood and nightmares dwell.
Back before I had Patron on my payroll and was doing like all of the art between us. Yeah, that one. Well, I guess you're probably better than this now.
Kohate says, I wanna see.
Opaque-legged blight so grim,
Kohate says, The pre-patron days.
The pre-patron days. Yeah, when I was hiring other artists to do things.
Kohate says. Beautiful.
Courage they'll find.
We had one from Path. We had a couple from Toolwiz.
Path Roots says. Yeah, only Tomboy Enthusiast is the only person that commissions lately. TVT. Kohate says. Can't believe we have to Monopoly bust patron down to size.
Alright guys, waifu time. You know what though? I feel like I'm not putting capes on enough of my characters these days. I should probably do something about that like right now.
Kohate says. Alright, time to lock in. Link says. I've received 100 messages today with Restream chat. Path Roots says. Nice.
Oh, I got the hardness too low. Everything looking fuzzy. This one I did not send off to Patron because I've already got quite a backlog for him. I've been trying to do more of them myself so I don't have to wait. Especially since now I have a whole day of the week besides streaming set aside to do art. We'll see how long that lasts, because as soon as I get all my character designs done, I probably won't need it so much. But then again, I have been talking about drawing more creature pics. And have been doing that recently.
Kohate says. 3.
What are you threeing about, Kohate? I'm not talking about Sunday nights, if that's what you're thinking of.
Kohate says. Well then 3-2.
Nine? Alright, I guess 9 is okay. As long as it's not 6, 7 or something stupid like that. Oh no, what have I done?
Kohate says.
How do you do this?
Oh my god chat, he said the thing most jog.
Oh, 6, 7 derogatory. The bad part about putting cloaks on all your people is like all these extra things that they have to
Kohate
accommodate
says.
the cloak.
Streamer 67D on my Sigma till my cortisol levels spiked and left me rizzless on god FR.
Cortisol levels is like some new thing, isn't it? I haven't heard that one until recently. It's one of these new internet terms that people start using and then everybody starts using it. Frickin' I've
Kohate
crafted a
says.
meme for these things.
It is. It's a part of the looks-maxing subculture that's spilled into the mainstream and it's honestly abhorrent.
Yeah, I've seen the looks maxers going around. Let's see. Where is this meme I was talking about? Looks maxers are freaking crazy. I saw that one guy that had his wig stolen, and like immediately afterwards his face transforms. Ah, here it is. The secret word! I need to use this more often.
Ultramansk says. Ship of Theseus.
Ultraman's X, how's it going? Welcome back. Yes. We were talking about internet words and how everybody just picks things up.
Ultramansk says, I do vibe.
Do vibe? Vibing is pretty good. I think I more or less have this cape figured out now. Maybe not. Okay, now I'm wondering what cortisol levels have to do with looks maxing, if that's where it came from.
Weird question. When you have a physical book available, what are you gonna price it at?
That's a good question, and it probably depends more on the printing cost than anything else, which I haven't researched yet. I have discussed business plans with ChatGPT. And it told me that my projections were too low. It literally told me I need to raise the price I was thinking on what I was talking about. But that wasn't for physical books.
Kohate says, going into tough economic times, I want to have some ducats stashed away.
I don't know, a physical book might be a while off. We are getting closer to actually having like a digital thing. Excuse me, I'm wiping some grime off of my screen because it's got my sweaty hand dragging across it.
Pathroot says, use grok. Kohate says, my heart, gag.
Grok actually sucks for my purposes. Grok doesn't remember anything. If I were to use Grok to help me brainstorm anything, I'd have to like feed it the entirety of all the Crytures lore every single time I open up a new chat with it.
Kohate says, Grok's gonna tell him that a physical release isn't viable, and then I'll never get the product that I, the only consumer that matters, want.
You know what, Kohate? I like the way you think. I think the same way. Not that you're the only consumer that matters, but I'm the only consumer that matters. Alright, we need a new reference for these colors.
Kohate says, Damn, I was so close to being really flattered, LMAO.
Well, you know what? I came to that way of thinking because every single time I like voice my opinion on what I would like something to be, it's always just like, oh, well, that's niche and it won't have as big of an audience. And I'm like, I don't care. In fact, I like it that way. I would like it to be more niche. I would like it to pander to me and not every single other person on the face of the world. Because they have bad taste. They just have bad taste. And I'm tired of accommodating them just because. Just because. Why do they deserve to be pandered to? You know, we can get the secret word off of here. We don't need that anymore. Gotta change their thing to refer to other layers.
Kohate says, there are like 3 people in my life that flash before me the second you say that, LMAO. Real.
Just to add to the list of grievances on this stream, I hate everything being pandered to the lowest common denominator. We're not allowed to have niches anymore. We can't have niche entertainment. We can't have niche games. Although frankly, that's never stopped the indie games. But a lot of indie games are just following trends already.
Kohate says, I love niches. I love discovering niche communities. I love things not being homogenized and boiled down for mass consumption.
Geronimo, I am going to freaking smash your eyeball in and disconnect you from everything if you keep pronouncing it niche.
Pathroots says, brother is going help me set up a vegan account, now, to find an audience that aren't going to cause a controversy.
Awesome. Is vegan actually controversy free?
Kohate says, my favorite presidential candidate is Mitt Romney. Kohate says, Pathroots, every audience is going to cause a controversy.
Probably.
Pathroots says, yeah, true. XDDD.
Which again is why pandering to everybody is stupid. You pander to one demographic and you only have to worry about them. You pander to all of them, and all the demographics and interest groups they hate each other and you can't keep anybody happy.
Kohate says, for example, I'm planning to drag Dice into controversy next month. Don't tell him though, I want it to be a surprise.
Uh-oh.
Pathroots says. But then again, Vjin is based for defending an artist from a cancel campaign.
Is it? I wouldn't have pegged that as the origin of it. Partly because a lot of the people I see using it are like uber liberals. But then again, it is a site for artists. Derogatory.
Kohate says. The libs' revealed preference is much stronger than their expressed preference though, so it makes sense to me. Pathroots says. Yeah, true. TVT. Pathroots says. Got any other artist sites like Vjin?
I haven't heard of any. No, recently.
Pathroots says. One where I could find clients.
Nah. I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't use it or anything.
Kohate says. If your goal is just to find work, then it's like Vjin and Ver.
Why don't you set up a LinkedIn profile?
Pathroots says. Fiverr isn't even worth looking into.
Fiverr seems like it would be even more prone to scam artists.
Kohate says. I know there are a couple of gallery sites out there, but they're all very adult and would require a lot of community building. Unless you're cracked. Pathroots says. Everyone is competing for the lowest price there.
Back in my day, you could actually get commissions off of social media, but I don't know if that even works anymore.
Kohate says. TBH, being insanely good is kinda a cheat code. Kohate says. It does work, can confirm.
There you go, Path. Just get a few thousand followers and you too can get commissions. We need to do something about
Kohate
this
says.
hair, though.
Yeah, it's easy and totally not luck dependent. Pathroot says. I'd gotta do community building first. XDDD. Kohate says. Unless you're cracked.
That's one of the things I miss about like the old social media stuff is that you could just like engage with other artists and like leave comments on their posts and shit, and like you'd be able to rack up some attention just based on that. And if you got like a retweet or a repost, that actually meant something because the algorithms weren't like getting in the way and being like, oh, you retweeted this, but everything's being showed algorithmically, so it doesn't actually matter. We don't actually show the things that you put on your own profile to the people who follow you.
Kohate says. Did you see that the following tab now has a popular and a most recent drop down?
Yes. And it's really annoying because, like,
Kohate says.
on mobile...
X does not want you to see the stuff you're following for LMAO. Pathroot says.
On mobile...
Yep.
It defaults to one, and on desktop it defaults the other for me.
Pathroot says.
And it's annoying trying to remember which one I'm on. More perverse incentives. And people wonder why everything is rage bait and engagement bait these days. I think I said this on another stream, but a while back I tried getting back on Tumblr to see what it was like, because as far as I know, they still don't have like a algorithmic feed.
Kohate says.
It's still
A friend
crazy
asked
over
what
there.
I thought about a recent art, and so I was trying to find it and discovered that it wasn't reverse chronologic, and that's why I hadn't seen anything from a solid chunk of people in. Kohate says. Quite some time. Pathroot says. Have you made a Yonkoma, 4 coma, on Crytures, dice?
No. Closest thing I've done with that was like the little illustrated
says,
journal entries I've
What
done.
the hell is a Yonkama?
He just explained it in the
Pathroot
parenthesis.
says, 4-panel comic. Kohate says, what's the purpose?
To present something in a
Pathroot
way that's
says,
good for social
short
media
story.
consumption. It fits
Kohate
on a
says,
Twitter post.
Crytures comic when dice.
A comic definitely ain't happening until some other artist will work on it. I have been working on turning my playtest sessions into like a narrative.
Kohate says, Drat. Fiddlesticks even.
Fiddlesticks. Yeah, you know why there's not gonna be a comic. Takes too damn long. I started one like early on in the Crytures days, but I got like 4 pages in and I was like, yeah, I don't feel like
Kohate says,
continuing this.
literally endlessly time-consuming and terrible for engagement. Pathroot says, I'm practicing Yongomas at the moment. I'm not advertising BTW, please don't take it the wrong way. Kohate says,
Oh, I don't even mind.
but the people who like the media love the comics, so that's always nice. Kohate says, show my your 4-panel comics Pathroots.
People always want the media until it comes time to engage with it.
Kohate says, you're advertising to me right now, show them to me. Pathroot says, you on Dice's Discord? Kohate
Yes.
says, yeah.
I don't think you're on the same Discord that Cohead is probably thinking of, though. We should get you on the other Discord.
Pathroot says, just a moment. Pathroot says, I envy me. TVT.
Let's see. Where are you at? Oh, there you are. There he is. Path is part of the in crowd now. Not a lot goes on there, but when it does, it
Kohate
does.
says, here come Dad BOI. Pathroot says. It's on art dump. It's cringe. XDDD.
You know what? Forget how cringe it may or may not be. The first thing I think when I see it is you should put those in like a not in a straight up and down line. You should go like this. Because that's like the exact dimensions that you could get on Twitter.
Your work is free.
You post it like this, people will be able to see the entire thing from the feed. If you got it just like in a row like this,
concur with Dice's
then it's gonna hide a lot of that because of the cropping.
Pathroot says. I am doing the JP format, but makes sense.
The JP format probably makes more sense on places like Pixiv or something.
Kohate says. The Japanese on Twitter also do the 2x2, because they're efficient.
I mean, some people will adapt their content specifically to the platform they're on. They'll do one format for one and then change it up to post on another one.
Kohate says. Couldn't be me, that's too much work.
Right?
Pathroot says. What dimensions are the canvas likely? A 4?
Usually you're gonna get on Twitter better results out of just like a landscape composition more than anything.
Ultramansk says. Fuck, I missed the jump luff.
All Ultraman's playing games in the Twitch chat.
Pathroot says. A May 4 landscape. Ultramansk says. Sorry, I'm also in a Pathfinder game. Kohate says. For the typical 4 panel. It's like H2XW3, 4.
Oh, we definitely need to reduce the opacity on that layer.
Pathroot says, height 2K / width 3K.
Yeah, Path, you're over here like giving us paper dimensions for print, and we're like, how many pixels is it?
Kohate says, sure, that's the ratio, but you can do whatever you'd want really. Spritey0 says, hello.
Hello?
Pathroot says, gotcha. XDDD.
How's it going? However you say your name, we'll just call you Sprite. How's it going?
Pathroot says, I always overthink the ratio. XDDD. Spritey0 says, I love your art.
Well, thanks.
Kohate says, the most important thing is that you make it. You got this.
Toxic positivity, Kohate. But yeah, don't worry too much about the specifics. Just make stuff and figure it out as you go is the best advice you can get.
Spritey0 says, I also love your Vtuber model. Kohate says, it's not, I'm literally saying that he has to do the thing.
Well, Sprite, the Vtuber model is also my art.
Kohate says, you're toxic on God. Spritey0 says, gasp. Pathroot says, yeah. Gotta get rid of my toxic overthinking. XDDD.
Just remember, any mistakes you make on the internet aren't going to matter until you have a massive audience. And then they'll be forgotten within a week, probably.
Kohate says, they'll matter to me though. Kohate says, now that I know, I'll see all the mistakes and I'll point out every last one, and you'll be like, stop, you're so toxic, and I'll be like, yeah, a little bit.
Come on, Kohei. You of all people should know that I'm very good at ignoring criticism if I don't like it.
Pathroots says. Nice XDDDD.
And if I do like it, I've probably already thought of it, I'm just too lazy to fix it.
Kohate says. It's a real shame you, dash, you.
Alright, I guess I should start softening up the edges on this thing. Here's an example of criticism that I'm too lazy to change. I don't like the color of the chainmail on these characters. But alas, one of them is already done. chat has gone quiet and I don't have anything to back up to talk about. Tone Boys, come up with a thing for me to talk about. Oh, what do you mean, dice bag? We don't know anything either. You just keep us in a box.
Kind of criticism that I think about, like there's terrible design choices and then there are technical mistakes. I only ever really care about the later. Kohate says, I like the color of the chainmail.
There, see, dice bag, you just had to wait a bit. I feel like the chainmail is too bright and too blue for the rest of it. So there.
Pathroots says, thinking about doing Yonkama and searching on JP Twitter for examples.
So when you're talking about like the comics path, are you thinking of like doing this with characters that exist, or are you making your own
Kohate
things?
Says, yeah, well, maybe it's not the chainmail's fault, maybe the green is too bright and too green.
The green is fairly desaturated, so I don't think that's the fault of the green.
Kohate says, you ever think about that? No. Because you only think about yourself.
Let's see. What if we greened it up a little bit?
Pathroots
You know
says,
what? It's kind of
I
a...
think I'm gonna do an audience building first, before I open a Vgen account. Also, OCS, I think.
Dude, just open the VGen account. Build your audience on VGen. And everywhere else. Throw shit at the wall until it sticks.
Pathroots says, already had my brother explain to me what Vgen can do. Kohate says, concur, just send it, brother. Pathroots says, equals x equals.
Okay, I've got too many line art layers here. Stupid things.
Kohate says, you got two dudes, who are pretty proficient, you gotta trust us. Patty's Parlor says, Diuuds.
Patty! Welcome. We got all the artists in here now.
Patty's Parlor says, how've you all been? Pathroots says, I'd, YOLO.
We've been trying to convince Pathroots to stop procrastinating.
Pathroots says, hey Patty. V. /
Yeah, Path, the worst thing you can
Patty's
do when
Parlor
you're
says,
starting out on something is
Keepers.
to spend so much time making a plan that you never actually do the thing.
Kohate says, if it ain't Patty. Path Roots says, yeah, true. TVT.
Hell, I started streaming before I even had a Vtuber model. Not that my streaming career has taken off or anything, but... Does anybody remember it? Only me.
Patty's Parlor says, doing dishes while I listen.
Ew, I freaking hate
Kohate
dishes.
says, I
My
sure
condolences,
wasn't there for
Patty.
it. Smiley face. Patty's Parlor says, what are we remembering?
We're remembering before I had a Vtuber model and I did some streaming, which wasn't much, but it existed. And nobody remembers it because nobody was there. And that's a good thing.
Patty's Parlor says, that was before me.
It was before a lot of things.
Patty's Parlor says, how'd the glossary work go?
Oh yeah, the glossary. The glossary is done now. There's a whole page with a bunch of game terms, and they all link to the place where they're defined. But should help a lot for people trying to find things. And it also helped me because there are some things that I hadn't fully defined in the rules on the website yet. Alright. Time... That ain't right. What's going on here?
Kohate says,
Have an
that
extra
was
layer
probably
for some
the
reason.
part that took the longest then, LMAO.
Yeah. Actually filling the gaps of the rules that I left, it did take a while. That's probably why it took me 2 days instead of a night. But hey, now that's something I'm not surprised by when I actually think I'm done with the thing. That's actually one of the things that was good about making the sample adventure template I was working on. Because I had to go through and like look at, okay, like how much of this do I actually have written down and how much of this have I just been running on Fiat? So what seemed to be a simple task of just packaging the rules in a presentable form ended up with me having to make rules that I didn't lay out before. Something don't look right about this. Don't look right about this. Kinda looks like her eyes aren't focusing on anything. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Kohate says, "You're overthinking it."
Okay. If Kohat says I'm overthinking it, then I must be overthinking it.
Kohate says, "Good talk LMAO."
Go ahead, if you have nothing to criticize, then I know I must have done it right. Or at least good enough for my purposes. You know what we need? The Viridian
Half-Brute
Order
says,
sigil.
Damn, overthinking is contagious.
Yeah, that's right, Path. It's all your fault. You're rubbing off on me.
Ultramansk says, YOOO.
Yo!
Kohate says, her eyes are nicer than the man's, so no qualms here.
I should hope so. I drew this guy probably more than a year ago, so hopefully I'm better now.
Pathroots says, oof. I'm sorry my guy. TBT.
It's okay, Path. Maybe my gung-ho just ship it nature will rub off on you as well. Now where the hell is the thing I'm looking for? There it is. Hold on.
Kohate says, how devastated would you be?
About what? I am not quite following the line of questioning on this one. We need to rasterize this. Let's get us some warp tool action here.
Kohate says, I have a handful of drawings where I'm like, man, I made that ages ago and I'll never make something that good again. If anyone told me that though, I'd be throwed.
You know what? There are some drawings like that for me, but generally I actually kind of understand what I was doing. Ah, no. Okay, I have to merge these. Then we make a clipping mask. I put it down here. Alright, there we go. Look at that. It conforms to the booba and everything. Which definitely would not be flattened by the weight of the chainmail. Alright, time to save this chick. Oh yeah, on this guy. He's definitely a little dated. You can see I actually used like a chainmail brush to try and get that effect, and that was stupid because I already had like a method for making chainmail, or giving the suggestion of chainmail, which I'm using here. I should redo him sometime. and fix his eyes. And what was the other thing? There was something else. I don't remember. Story of my life, don't remember anything. Childhood, don't remember. Life lessons, don't remember. Let's see, what else do we need? We do need a female version of this guy. Let's sketch one of these up. And then we'll probably have done enough on this stream. Ponyboy kept calling this guy Jesus when I was working on him. Coming up with a pose for these characters is probably the hardest part of it all. Especially after I've drawn so many of them.
Kohate says, "Can't believe we're getting a Jesset in 2026.
A Jesset? Oh. A female Jesus, I get you. Woke Hollywood has gone too far.
Path Roots says, "I'd, I'ma go now. Keep up the hard work, B.
Alright, Path, we'll see you around." Alright, body time. You know, one of the problems I've always had with drawing characters for the game is trying to strike a balance between like a Pokemon-ish style of character and like actually making characters that look kind of tough. Because you look at Pokemon characters, if there's like a tough Pokemon character, they're shaped like this. Like that's the actual body proportions. Everybody else looks like a little boy. Or a little girl. Or just a flat out woman. They have those two, I guess. The whole pelvis area has always been a struggle for me too. That leg is probably going to be too short, but we'll figure it out. That body is definitely too short. And we are going to have to shrink them shoulders.
Kohate says, "Me when I'm struck by the curse of manlet."
Yeah, you get into the looks max and Kohet. Get yourself some shoes with 6-inch heels. Get some leg extensions. You know what, I think we can stand to make the head a little bit bigger.
Kohate says. Everyone mocked me for my leg extensions, but now I'm in a wheelchair and nobody's laughing.
Now I'm afraid to draw the crossbow. I don't really want to do it, but I guess I have to. You spend all your time trying to get human anatomy right, and then you have to draw something else, and it's like, damn. I have to learn another thing? Alright, let's see.
Kohate says. The other day I was drawing a chair and I was offended by how badly it was going LMAO.
Dude. Can you imagine what it was like trying to draw this thing? What the heck is that? I sure as hell didn't know. That's why I traced 90% of it. Oh, and I went to church a couple weeks later and my sister was there, and she had a spinning wheel that she just picked up recently. So I showed this to her and I'm like, did I get this right? And she pointed out a thing or two I was missing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna redraw all that. Most people aren't gonna know that anyways. I don't even know how they work.
Kohate says. When people draw things really well, I just think, I know what you are. Because they're the truly special people.
They're the artistic savants, right?
Kohate says. Naturally. Patty's Parlor says. Autistic savants in my case.
think that's what we were getting at.
Kohate says. Chad, does he know you?
Does he know? Are we talking about tracing instead? Because that's how I did it.
Kohate says. Patty's Parlor, what's your favorite thing to draw? Patty's Parlor says. Beautiful women in profile. Kohate says. Yes, same, but it's 2026, let's not refer to women as things.
Go ahead, weren't you just saying earlier how much you hate women?
Patty's Parlor says. Haha. Kohate says. That doesn't mean that I have to be rude. Kohate says. FR, though I was mostly thinking about inanimate things.
Why don't you share your own inanimate favorites with the class, Kohate? Start the conversation.
Kohate says.
I don't think I could think of an inanimate thing that I like to draw. Maybe weapons?
Kohate says. Probably toilets and urinals. Kohate says.
That's
I know
a choice.
that sounds weird, but hear me out. Kohate says. They're reflective, so they're fun to color, and they have a mix of insane shapes.
They do have some weird shapes to them.
Kohate says. Plus, given their location, you get to draw them in perspective a lot, and that's cool. Patty's Parlor says. HRRRRMMMM, yeah, fantasy weapons. I wish I were better at drawing guns. Kohate says. Dude, gun is cool. Kohate says. I love drawing gun.
Guns have too many little nitpicky details for me to really feel comfortable drawing them.
Kohate says. I drew a shadow once and spent like 5 minutes on him and 50 minutes on his firearm. It was cursed.
Shadow, like the pulp hero? Shadow? The Shadow?
Kohate says. I don't know if Shadow the Hedgehog's a pulp hero, but I don't mind calling him one.
Oh, Shadow
Patty's
the
Parlor
Hedgehog,
says,
okay.
Money is on Hedgehog. Patty's Parlor says. He does fight demons.
I thought he fought aliens.
Patty's Parlor says. Go on world-spanning adventures.
It does make sense that you would need to draw a gun for Shadow the Hedgehog. I guess I follow too many authors on Twitter that's where my mind went to. Whoops, that's not what I want to erase. Oh, I remember that Shadow.
Patty's Parlor says.
The sus Shadow.
Aliens are demons, LOL.
You know what? True.
Kohate says. For what it's worth, the shoes also took forever on that, now that I remember it.
Shadow has some very mechanical looking shoes,
Kohate
doesn't he?
says. Why can you see the bottom of the shoe while he's standing up? I'll never know, but they are swaggy.
The shoes are what make him go fast,
Blade Burst
right?
says. Cool.
Blade Burst, welcome. How's it going? We are working on some character designs for my tabletop RPG.
Kohate says. Not, the shoes are actually inhibitors that make him perceptible to non-hogs.
To non-hogs? You're telling me that Shadow normally can only be seen by other hedgehogs? Is that why he's Shadow? You know, I've come to the realization that I'm going to have to make a feminized version of a brigandine right now, and I really don't want to do that.
Kohate says. Well, one other hog.
One other hog.
Kohate says. You just gotta send it, homie.
What hog are you talking about, Kohat? I'm not a Sonic aficionado or anything, but I know there's more than one other hedgehog.
Kohate says. Sonic. Kohate says. The hog.
Well, what about Amy and Silver and all of them?
Kohate says. Amy can't see past her love, and Silver second to gold.
Is there a Gold the Hedgehog? I don't think there is one.
Kohate says. Knows nothing about Sonic and is just making things up.
We got a fake Sonic fan here. Honestly, probably the best kind of Sonic fan.
In the heart of the mall lies grim despair. Eldritch fear makes us all beware. Mystic runes glow in the midnight air.
You know, let's get this guy off this side.
We chant our spells with fiery flare.
I'll put him over here so I can actually see what's going on. Okay, come on. Oh wait. This is the same thing. We have to save this as something else, guys. There we go.
Past, haunted souls in the shadows cast. We hold fast to magic unsurpassed. Our sorcery summoned ever fast. Eerie winds howl like banshees cry.
Oh no, I'm erasing things I don't want to.
Chalice raised with sacred light, banish all beyond our sight. In unity,
I should have paid more attention to proportions when I was
of the endless night.
working with them before. No, we definitely need more leg coverage than that.
From forgotten worlds, hands of power, old and grim, secrets stir in the shadows hymn. Scrolls unravel, time does scream, empires crumble, truth supreme. Man's ambition, a flame untamed. In the dark, their sins are claimed. The work of man, their pride, their bane. Crafting gods through skill and pain. Machines awaken, their hearts beat black. From dust they rise.
Kohate says. She'll get a cape as well yet?
Of course she'll get a cape. Arrow, we should draw the cape on right now because it looks weird.
attack. Years that groan, the pulse of might, furnaces blaze in eternal night. Power forged, yet hearts are damned. This ancient curse, the work of man. Blinded by their bold desire, mortals sought to harness fire. But fire burns and shadows spread. Among their marvels none were spared. The work of man, their pride, their bane, crafting gods through skill and pain. Machines awaken, their hearts beat black. From dust they rise, they must attack.
And that means I can erase these parts.
Through the mists, the path is set. A conjurer's oath, no chance to regret. Vivid veil where the shadows gleam. Under the rule of a fairy's dream. Verdant king, your gaze I feel. A throne of leaves, a realm unreal. Bound by thorns, the forest stirs. Green flames burn, your magic purrs. Branches twitch with whispered dread. Echoes of the living, the long since dead. Arcane runes in trails unfold. Veins of emerald, secrets untold. Oath of the conjurer, forged in fire. Through the glades where mortals tire, dare I brave the verdant king's might. A lord of wonders, veiled in night. Verdant king, your gaze I
Alright.
hear. Yet I march, I draw near.
That looks better.
Fire lush, roots so deep, an ageless bond the world shall keep. Winding streams with laughter laced, the valley breaks with ancient grace, yet cunning eyes behind the throne. A fairy king's call, the rhythm, the song.
Alright, let's see. What can I do with the legs here? Suppose we could just give her the old thigh highs treatment. And then we'll give her the greaves on the lower legs. I should probably like reduce the size of the brushes I'm working with. I'm not so much in sketch mode anymore. You know what, there was one kind of funny trend I saw going around this week, in that freaking fast food joint CEOs are all like trying to show themselves eating their own burgers. And most of them did not seem particularly thrilled. Personally, I think the Burger King one seemed alright. He seemed like he actually eats burgers himself when he ate the burger. If that means anything. I wonder how many takes they needed to get it right, though. All the other guys kind of came off really weird. They probably shouldn't put their CEOs in marketing material.
Kohate says, I might be a hater, but I found this trend very upsetting.
Some of the guys were definitely a little upsetting.
Kohate says, it wasn't a fast food CEO, but the Campbell CEO was on tape saying that his product was for the poors and that he'd never eat it. Kohate says, I think that's what happened, just reminded me of that.
Through woods of shadow, damp and deep, a conjurer's vow they swore to keep. The spiders brood, they weave their lies beneath the moon's accusing eye.
Yeah.
Back of eight-legged blights so grim, by staff and chant they'll silence them.
To be clear, I'm saying I liked it because I found it interesting more than that I actually got entertainment value out of it.
Their cloaks were threadbare, their souls were torn through failure's ash, their mission born. Spells on lips and lanterns low, they track the webs where shadows grow. Mandibles clicking, the nests they grow. A clattering choir where dread winds
Although I guess you could say that was entertainment value.
Redeemer's tread as quiet as mist through
Patty's Parlor says, have you guys seen the new White Shark mag yet?
I have not seen White Shark. No.
so grim, by staff and chant they'll silence them, for redemption calls their fates entwined in questing hearts. Courage they'll find, each strike of fire, each rune etched proud, each cry for hope, each vow aloud.
I'm still not entirely sure what White Shark magazine is actually about, to be honest.
Nightmares dwell.
Like, I know it's a thing about wargaming. I just don't know what wargamers do.
Eight-legged blights so grim, by staff and chant they'll silence them, for redemption calls
Besides paint minis.
entwined in questing hearts.
Kohate says,
Courage
I also have never heard of this. Patty's Parlor says, it's just a homie magazine. We have some war game stuff in there, but we have RPG and pulp stories and lots of art.
Okay.
Patty's Parlor says, this last issue has a bunch of art gallery type stuff, 3 pulp stories, a Battletech battle report, a dungeon adventure.
You know what? I think it's the battle report stuff that I don't really get.
Patty's Parlor says, you had an ad in there our first issue.
I did put the ad in there, yes, but I still didn't know what it was about. Other than being a game, a hobby game thing. So what's the deal with battle reports exactly? Like, is it just a play-by-play of somebody's war game that they played?
Patty's Parlor says, the spring issue is out, do you want the link for it? Patty's Parlor says, it's free.
Might as well drop it. In the chat, specifically, or in Discord. Here in the Discords.
Patty's Parlor says, battle reports are a play-by-play, yeah. They serve a purpose of making examples of play, showing tactics, so on. My brother and I write them as narratives rather than a recap.
I see. That sounds kind of like something I'm trying to do with my playtesting. I took one of my playtest sessions that I did a while back.
Patty's Parlor says, link.
And I like wrote up an expedition report from the perspective of one of the characters. And I'm gonna try and narrate it and put it on the YouTube channel and see how that goes. Actually, I think I might have done the narration already. I just haven't put it into a video yet because I've been procrastinating. Also, I'm kind of debating on if I want to like try and make art specifically for it or just kind of throw some of the stuff I already have in there. I'm gonna have to come up with a whole look for her face and everything now. Actually, you know what? cloak should definitely cover more of the shoulders than this. Let's give her some long gloves. I'm not procrastinating on the face. Trust me, guys, I'm not. Oh, that's not right. Alright, let's see what this looks like without the head in the way. Might need to lift this part up so it actually... Alright, let's try something almost completely different. You know what? I think we need to like soften up the jawline a bit. He's looking a tad manly. Alright. I've been procrastinating long enough. Let's get the face on here and then we can finally end this stream. Those lasses might be a bit too long. Just a little bit. Something's a little bit off. I think the head might be a little bit lopsided.
Patty's Parlor says. Lopsided heads. No such thing.
I would never draw something other than perfectly symmetrical, right? The playlist is putting the outro on, it's giving me a hint.
Ultramansk says. LOL.
Alright, you know what? I think that's close enough. Actually, the more I zoom out and look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that face is lopsided.
Patty's Parlor says. Got the line work almost done.
That's pretty rough. We're definitely gonna send this one to Patron and let him clean it up. That'll keep him busy. He's starting to get low on stuff. Alright, let's take a look at things. Do we have anybody on Rumble we want to raid? We got a few bros hanging out. Let's see. I appear to be the only person I follow that is live, so I guess we're not raiding anybody. Alright then, if that's how it's gonna be. I guess we'll call it here. So thanks for hanging out, guys. It was nice to have all y'all in chat to talk to while I work. So we'll see y'all next time. And we'll probably be doing more characters.
Late night on Rumble is weird.
Late night on Rumble is weird. Yeah, usually there's like somebody who's going later than me, but I guess not this time. That's what I get for being on night shift schedule. Alright. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Patty's Parlor says. I'm going on night shifts from here on out, so my streams are shifting to mornings.
I see. Okay. Well, bye!